no matter what happens, good or bad, you're going to learn from it. You've already committed to learning from this experience you're about to partake in. And so that should take a little bit of the edge off. You're just going to go out and perform, right? The pressure is there, but it's there in a positive way. You're going to give 100%, but you're going to walk away, good or bad, with something you learned that's going to improve your performance the next time. Experience is really important as you grow, especially with your confidence. And then when it comes to confidence, you got to have confidence in your ability.
Welcome to Charge Forward Coaching, the podcast for committed athletes and individuals who want to achieve more on and off the field. Hosted by James Blasco, certified mental toughness and resilience coach. You'll gain insights and inspiration from elite athletes, coaches, and others who know what it takes to excel. Are you ready to go to the next level? Then tune in, get inspired, and let's charge forward. Now here's your host, James Blasco.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Charge Forward Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, James Blasco. Well, today we have an interesting topic. I think it's pretty interesting. Today we're going to talk about the pressure gap. Now, this term is used a lot in sports psychology, and you hear it thrown around, but a lot of people don't really know exactly what it is or what it refers to. So we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to handle the pressure gap and get better performance on game day specifically. So what is pressure gap? So the pressure gap is you have a good week of practice, for example. Everything feels good. You're going through all of your reps, all the things you need to do, your training, so forth and so on. You feel really good. You feel pretty confident going forward. However, as game day gets closer and you start edging a little bit closer to game day, anxiety starts to build a little bit. And then on game day, the anxiety is like kind of high, very high sometimes for some people. And what happens is your performance suffers because of that. And it's very frustrating. And a lot of athletes have this. And there's different assessments you could take to determine your level of competitive sports anxiety, but it's important to realize that it's a real thing. It's a common thing, and there are things you could do to prevent it or at least subdue it a little bit. So before we go into that, let's talk a little bit about why the pressure gap starts to begin with. And there's really two primary reasons. Number one, uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen during the game or the event, right? Could be good, could be bad. You just don't know. And so that creates a little bit of tension. And that's, how will I perform? How will my competition perform? What will the fans or my family think? All these things of uncertainty start to build up. And that's multiplied by then the importance or relevance that you place on the event. So the more importance you put on the event, and the more uncertainty you have, the higher your anxiety is going to be. Make sense? So one analogy I would use when I was a little kid, I wasn't a big fan of roller coasters. I'd go on them, but I was a big fan. So if I was with my friends or family and early when we get to the park, I would tell them, hey, I'm going on that big roller coaster today. We're going to do that. And so we go on all these other rides, and then sooner or later, they want to go on the roller coaster. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to do it. And then we get to the roller coaster, and what happens? I start feeling with anxiety. I don't know if I want to do this or not. And that's what happens with the pressure gap. And there's things you could do, and you know what I'm going to say. The 4 C's of mental toughness, right? Control, challenge, commitment, and confidence could play a big part in helping you bring the pressure gap down a little bit, bring that anxiety down a little bit. It may still be there, and that's okay, because you could use it in a positive way, but you don't want it to ruin your game or your round or whatever it is. So let's start with control. So one of the things with control is emotional control. And we've talked about this several times. Emotional control is really, it's not ignoring your emotions and this anxiety or other things you're feeling, but it's being aware that it's there and then using it in a constructive way. There's no sense in trying to ignore it, but you want to place it in its proper place. And you want to use it as fuel and not something that undermines your performance. So you need to work on emotional control. Life control is important too, because when it comes to that uncertainty, what are people going to think or all this kind of stuff? What is the relevance or importance of this event? You got to put it in perspective. I mean, even if it's the Super Bowl, which is big, and that would be pretty important, of course, to all of us if we were playing in it. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you still have a whole other life. It doesn't define you as a person. It doesn't define your life. So life control becomes really, really important. Then we look at commitment, and that goes back to my analogy on the roller coaster. You committed to this. It obviously is important to you. That's why you've spent days, weeks, months, years practicing the craft or doing whatever it is you want to do. And you made a commitment to a team, maybe to your family, your friends, whatever. So when you get close to this event, now's not the time to say, I don't want to be on the roller coaster. You made the commitment. It's time to go. It's okay. All the things we're feeling, and it's time to move forward. You practiced, make the best of it. So stick to your commitment. It's very, very important. Then we have challenge. Challenge comes in with that uncertainty, because uncertainty gives you a lot of doubt at times, right? Am I good enough? Am I as good as that other person? Did I prepare enough, right? And what you want to do in terms of challenge is realize no matter what happens, good or bad, you're going to learn from it. You've already committed to learning from this experience you're about to partake in. And so that should take a little bit of the edge off. You're just going to go out and perform, right? The pressure is there, but it's there in a positive way. You're going to give 100%, but you're going to walk away, good or bad, with something you learn that's going to improve your performance the next time. Experience is really important as you grow, especially with your confidence. And then when it comes to confidence, you got to have confidence in your abilities. And the only way to really get that is to practice, and practice with intent. There's no way you're going to have the success you want just from, say, positive thinking or something. You have to practice. You have to give 100% every single time you step on the field or the court, the training room. You have to have your nutrition plan set up. You have to sleep right. You have to hang around positive, supportive, constructive people. All those things will help build your confidence. When you step on the field, you use the other tools in your toolbox to handle emotions and those types of things. But you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, no matter what, I'm giving 100% today. I've trained as good as I possibly can, at least to this point. And what happens, happens. But my competition, this course, whatever it may, it's getting the best of me today, period, regardless of anything else. So those are things from the 4C's perspective that you could start to work on and implement as this pressure gap builds. And it's going to, even if you're a very confident person, depending on the importance and relevance you put on a specific event, it's going to build. So you need to know how to manage it. So here's 3 things you could do specifically, more tangible things to work on reducing the pressure gap. Number 1, put yourself in pressure situations at practice. Some of your coaches might already be helping you to do that. I know that's very common practice these days, but sometimes they're not. So if they're not, you put yourself in a difficult or challenging or pressure situation. Get not just your mind accustomed to that, but your body as well, because you feel these things in your body. That's what makes you tense and you can't perform physically the way you want to. You could also create challenges or stressors and things, even in your normal life. Do things you're not comfortable with. You don't have to do it all the time, but do some things, find some things in your daily life that you normally don't like to do for whatever reason, and go ahead and do them. Do them in a positive way. Give 100% effort to what you're doing. That's the way you'll benefit from it. But get your mind and body used to being in uncomfortable situations, whether it be at practice or at home. Routines. I talk about routines all the time. Developing a routine can help bring down the competitive sports anxiety. So everything you do from the night before the game, the morning, right before the game, even during the game, there's some routines you can incorporate depending on the sport, and then post game. Those things should be the same every single game, event, or week, or whatever your schedule is. You pack your clothes the night before. You know what foods you're going to eat in the morning. You know when you're going to stretch. You know what you're going to do right after the game. You know what you're going to do 3 hours after the game. Those are really important. Routines are key. And over time, they're going to help reduce the stress and anxiety of game day. And then lastly, you got to find ways to reframe past experiences. You got to find ways to reframe the feelings that you have now about the uncertainty or the importance. Like I mentioned earlier, you may feel that that event or game is super important. In some ways it is. It might be part of the goals that you've put together. But let's always put things in perspective, reframe them to what they really mean to you, because that's all that matters, and put it on its place on the shelf. It's really important that you do that. Otherwise, you just start thinking. You know what we've talked about this. When your mind starts thinking, if you get that critic inside going and you aren't controlling that person, you're gonna have a lot of anxiety and lower performance. So that's the pressure gap. That's how you work with it. Get used to it. Have fun with it. You can by doing some of the things we talked about, and make the most out of game day every single time. All right. So I hope you got some nuggets from that. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. Go to chargeforwardcoaching.com. Learn a little bit more about mental toughness. Maybe give me a call. I'd be happy to help you out. But most of all, keep charging forward.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Charge Forward Coaching. Remember, the journey to greatness is built on mental toughness and consistent effort. So head on over to chargeforwardcoaching.com and book a free discovery call to take the next step in your journey. Until next time, stay focused, stay determined, and keep charging forward.